Good morning, YouTube. Today I'll be profiling my Skull Servants. This is definitely a fun deck that I wanted to pick up a long time ago, but then we had a friend who wanted to get Yu-Gi-Oh! And I had most of the core, so I gave it to him. There's an older profile on here that he played a lot more than I did, but playing against it, and then since I don't see him too much anymore, good, poor Richard, I wanted to see the deck in action again, bringing it a little bit up to code. This is just my take on it. Obviously, there's so many other options. I don't run any of the Shiranuis in here, so if you're looking for that kind of build, just click onto a different one. This is more of a pure, and I think it's a slightly more budgety as terms of some of these can get. Starting off, we run triple of the Skull Servants because he's your OG dude. Triple of the King because King himself just can get massive and is nice and can recur, so it's pretty darn cool. Triple of the White Prince because we need to dump stuff as much as possible. Triple of the White Mare. This is probably the most expensive portion of the deck. If you're trying to build it, you have to... when I picked these up, they were like $5 a piece, so it's pretty difficult to obtain because I think it was a short print. And Strike Blast. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, it's just additional like names and pluses for all your Skull Servants. White Princess is something that's relatively new, and she enhances the deck. You can discard her, and like decrease levels is pretty darn cool. Decrease attack and defense rather of your opponent's monsters. Not too bad. Equal to level because most of your monsters will be level 1. Triple of the Lady in White because again, getting White Princess maximizes as much as possible, and just generically, she's not bad to have as well. Moving on away from our Skull Servants, we run triple the Unizombie because we do run a pretty decently sized Synchro portion of this deck, and it's a really cool guide to go and set up your plays, and it's just so many options with Unizombie. He's one of the best monsters in the deck aside from like King, in my opinion. Triple of Mizuki because we can play Mizuki, triple Mizuki, and triple the Gozuki. This is like, it's nice to be able to have Gozuki and Mizuki. It just gives you so many more options, and be able to go Frank Force is pretty darn cool with this deck. Next, moving on to our spells and traps, we're in triple of the Book of Life. I mean, this is a lot more traditional of a zombie spell card, but I like it because you can banish stuff from your opponent's graveyard and you get to bring back a bunch of your own stuff, even if you don't have your Mizukis and Gozukis. It gives you more options to bring them back. One Book of Moon because it's nice to be able to just have more defensive and offensive capabilities with it. Triple Hand Destruction because it's nice to be able to just to dump your White Princess to the graveyard and just like plus off of that and draw 2. It's just really great, and I prefer this over like any of the pot cards because it gives you pluses and minuses to this card. I know it could be a neg1, but in the same sense it's pretty great. 1/1 for 1 because most of your monsters in this deck are level 1 monsters. King itself is a level 1, so it's like it's a no-brainer in my opinion. 1 Dark Hole because Dark Hole is great for board clearance. 1 Gold Sarcophagus. This is something I've been trying a little bit recently because you have a lot more ways to return stuff from the Banish Zones. So you may not even get Gold Sarcophagus, but it's nice to be able to have something to add to our targets for all of your returns because you have double barrel of the different dimension now. It's nice to be able to have that. And 1 Pot of Acquisitiveness. The nice part of Acquisitiveness is it lets you add monsters from your opponent's side of your opponent's Banish Zone to the graveyard if you're like running short on your own. It's just nice, and it gives you a card to replace itself. So it's a pluser and a minuser, but I enjoy it thoroughly. 2 White Veil because back row, like this deck dies to skill drain, hardcore, and so I like to have this. It's a nice little gimmicky thing that negates all your opponent's spells and traps during the battle phase. So it's pretty great to be able to have. And rounding up, we run a Foolish Barrel because dumping your Skull Servants to the graveyard are pretty cool. Pretty cool. Moving on to our extract, we run, I kind of tried to incorporate one of each level, or 1 or 2 of each level in terms of Synchro, because you have the opportunity to go into most different ones with your Unizombie. 1 Herald, 1 Ally Justice Cataster, 1 Shiranui Samurai Sarag, but difficult in pronouncing, but it's nice to be able to run that because it is a zombie and it's a common, so it's pretty easy to obtain. 1 Black Rose. I couldn't decide between Cypher Lord Omega and Void Ogre, so I decided to run them both. Our rank 9 is definitely not something that I would expect or most people would expect. It's this Crystron Quarion Gandrax. He requires 2 tuners and a non-tuner monster, but that's easy to do with like having 2 Unizombies and then just going like a regular Skull Serpent. If you've used both of your Unizombies effect, you can make him pretty easily. He does a lot more. Deals a lot more with the managing. I won't bore you with reading the full-on effect, but he's pretty cool, and I like him a little bit more nutritional in this particular kind of deck. And rounding up, we do finish off with another Shiranui Sunasag. I can't pronounce his name. It's a level 10, and he actually deals more with the banishing, and he's a 3500, which gets you over a lot of big beaters that your opponent may have. So I like him as your 10 option. Moving on to our Xyz portion. We're running a Sylvan Princess Sprite to get you more spells and just get more stuff dumped in the grave. 1 Lyricist, Assembled Nightingale. A Nightingale, because this card can attack directly for games, and it's just pretty nice, and there's a lot of gimmicky things you can do with it. 1 Goostrick Dullahan, 1 Dante, and 1 Leviathan, and our Xyz can be any rank 4s. These 2 can be any rank 4s you want. I just love Galgant Cowboy and Silent Honor Arc a little bit more than most other people do, so I run those 2 instead. That's going to wrap up my Skull Serpent deck profile. I know most people nowadays run like the Shiranui Solitaire and a lot of those cards, and it makes the deck a lot better, but this is more of a casual kind of build that you can use on more of a budget, because Solitaire is like $5 each right now. If you wanted to, you could swap out the white mirrors if you don't have that to fork over, but the rest of it is actually pretty darn cheap and easy to obtain. Let me know any suggestions you may have down in the description. I'll try and post the older deck profile that was done by Richard Barber. He was a lot better with the deck than I am. It will be a little bit outdated. But anyway, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.